to dress? Do I do I bring a raincoat or what? By all accounts, I'm hearing that it's supposed to stop. I know it stopped here today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll give it about one more minute or so for any stragglers, things like this. So everybody understands that today's session and future sessions, this is all about learning effective team management habit. Team management habit. Share my screen. So as I share my, oops, did it the wrong way. All right, tech. I'm not tech challenged, I promise. It's just only on certain days. Okay, so let's do this. I'll share this document first. And Javon, welcome. And Donna, are you logging in twice or did you get kicked out once? All right, so let's start off by asking a few questions. And then I'm just gonna let people in. Hey, Femi, how you doing, man? Haven't seen you in a minute. Good to see you. All righty. All right, there we go. Okay, so let me start off by asking a few questions. Who here who's already got a team that's under them that they're working with, that they're just trying to kind of enhance or figure out a direction of which way you want to take your team? All right, I'll take it by the silence. That's no one. Who is wanting to develop and grow a team? Who's always thought about that and said, I'd love to have people working for me and, kind of making my job a little bit easier, by not duplicating the same efforts.
Yeah, that's me. That's why I'm here.
Love it. Okay, perfect. So, talking a little bit about leadership. So, before I dive into this, I kind of wanted to get a general concept of what everybody thinks leadership is. So, when we talk about leadership, it means different things to different people. But in its simplest form, leadership is nothing more than influencing other people to follow, right? That's what leadership is. And we've all been leaders at different points in our lives, whether you've been a leader on a sports team or something academically or with your children or with your family. We've all been leaders at different points in our lives, both knowingly and unknowingly. So when we're talking about from a business perspective, just because we may wear the boss hat doesn't mean that we have the ability to influence others to follow in the direction that we're wanting them to go. So we're going to talk openly a lot about that in this series. So, knowing that anybody can influence other people to follow them, that's the basic core of having leadership qualities. So leadership happens on all levels within an organization or society, right? I mean, think about where you live, even the local burb where you're at. There's a leader in the local burb, and then there's leaders in the bigger city or county, and then there's leaders in the state, and so on and so on. So we've all had experiences either being a leader or being led by someone. And like I said, leadership means different things to different people, different cultures, in different situations. We see change. So when we ask what's a leader, it evokes a lot of things. We can think of politics or an executive in a company, or like what you guys are, which is wanting to be team leaders for your real estate business. And to break it down more simply, that means that you're looking to hire for someone who's obviously a productive person that can duplicate their efforts, in reap a financial reward for all parties that are involved. So if you think about like a model like McDonald's, is everybody familiar with McDonald's and its model? So while McDonald's was not founded by a gentleman by the name of Ray Kroc, Ray Kroc actually revolutionized the fast food industry as we know it, right? So we know that the McDonald's brothers founded McDonald's in the 40s, but they didn't have extremely accurate vision. They were, pretty localized. They made a good burger, but then they also made fried chicken and they made all kinds of other things that was a subsidy to their menu items. Ray Kroc was actually a milkshake machine salesman, but he like many entrepreneurs had higher aspirations. He met the McDonald's brothers. Ultimately, ended up buying McDonald's, but then he created a process of franchising. Right, he revolutionized how it should work. They created the standard assembly line for a burger, but he said, hey, this will work in Ohio, and this will work in Alabama, and this will work in California. And so Ray Kroc eventually franchised an operation that's similar. That's why you can get a McDonald's hamburger in San Francisco, and it'll be the same as the McDonald's hamburger you get in Texas. It was consistency, it was brand identity, and it was a value of service. And so Ray Kroc, for his efforts, rather than him going around from shop to shop and doing all that stuff himself, he did what's called franchising. So, in other words, he sold it to other people. He sold the system and the method to those people and ensured that the accuracy of that system was honored by the people he sold it with. And for his troubles, he got a piece of their money, right? Every hamburger that's sold, the Ray Kroc Foundation, everybody's dead, including his widow, Joan. Everybody's dead now. But, their foundation and their estate gets a piece, small piece of every burger that's sold. And essentially, as team leaders for a business model like real estate, that's what each and every one of you are doing. Some of you are going to be more involved in your team process, which means that some of you are going to want to be coaches and share the knowledge and the information that you've developed over a period of time that you've been in real estate to make someone else a better practitioner. So again, everybody has a different concept of what they want to be, but it all starts with very basic ideation on moving forward. So why is leadership important? Leadership's important because without good leadership, you have lots of directionless people, right? Sometimes when we get into real estate, and most of us experience this at least at some point in our real estate career, which is real estate is not a business to where they teach you how to do real estate, right? We all passed or took a class, or some of you took multiple classes in order to get your real estate license. And once you get your real estate license, there's no one to go, okay, you got to go do this thing, you got to go do this thing, you got to go do this thing. So we spend that time kind of aimlessly trying to figure out how to get started. What do I do? How am I going to make money in this business? And that creates lots of anxiety, lots of fear. By establishing yourself with someone who has more experience, who can impart knowledge to you, who can give you the basics of what you need to get started, that's us working with leadership. That's us either finding someone who can help to give us direction, or joining a part of a larger organization like a brokerage, so that we absolutely know that there's a path to help us achieve our goals. That is essentially what all of you are asking to do. That's what you're looking to do. You're looking to be leaders in something like that. And in order to be effective or good, you have to create a vision of the future. So, first step of being a team lead is you yourself having a vision on how you see that working, right? It's one thing to bring someone on board to, let's say, work with your buyers. But if you've got no buyers, if you don't know how to prospect to get buyers, if you don't have any active business working yourself, now you've got a directionless person working with someone without a vision, and a goal that goes nowhere. Okay. You also have to be able to people manage. You have to work well with others, particularly with a team. When we supervise or when we lead others, sometimes that involves changing of a will of behavior. So we all, function in a way that we like to do what we want to do and not be told how to do it or not be told where to go. That's part of the reason why we got into real estate. Real estate is that entrepreneurial style business to where we control our own destiny. When we're a team leader, we're helping to shape and control someone's destiny. So you have to be able to work well with others and be clear and specific so that they have a basic understanding of what needs to happen and they'll execute on those things. And that's what creates success. Obviously, we don't want a team to where ultimately it's going to fail or it never really gets off the ground. We want something that's going to generate success for everyone. Um, and we've got to be flexible when we're in business for ourselves, and we have to be flexible with our team. Life throws us many curveballs. There's lots of hurdles and obstacles that we all experience every day, and that translates right down to each and every person that you're going to have on your team. So leadership brings those skills together, so that we can actually function and create something. I want to address the creation of vision, and then I'm going to go into the sheet. Anybody have any questions so far? Anything they want to add? Anything they want to share? So I'm going to
No,
ask. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no question, Pete.
Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody who's here right now, as you're talking about your team or wanting to have a team, do you have a vision that's outlined? Better
No,
question. Who does not have, thank you, Sal. Who does not have a vision that's outlined?
I don't know where to start.
That's Donna. Don't know where to start. Okay. Anybody else? Femi, where are you going with your business? Do you have a team established? I know not right now. I know you want to. Jovan, I know you've got a couple people that you're working with. How are you establishing your team? What's your vision?
Yeah. What's up, D?
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
I basically, I'm big on company culture. I'm big on team culture.
Okay.
My vision is, basically by the end of the year, having 10 Rockstar agents just absolutely killing it. Right now, I have 4 people on my team. 3 are agents. One's a cold caller that's getting his license. And then, as we scale up, I'm going to scale up our ad budget. But yeah, that's basically the rudimentary vision, right?
Okay. Let me back up a second because you said a lot in there, and I want to unpack a little bit of it. I think it's valuable for everybody who's on this. Is you said by the end of the year, that's 2023, correct? You want to have 10 Rockstar agents just killing it.
Correct.
Tell me what that means for you. 10 Rockstar agents just killing it.
Like let's say each agent doing around 5 to 10 sides every quarter.
Okay, so 20 deals a year, 20 to 40 deals annually per agent.
Correct.
Okay. And do your agents have you said you have 4 on your team right now, one who does cold calling or prospecting.
Yep.
The 3 that you have that are active, what kinds of activities do you have them doing right now to make sure that you're on track for them to kill it?
So basically, I approach each agent with an individualized plan, right? Not everybody's going to flourish the same way. Like whatever's worked for me in my career is maybe not going to work for, like Lulu on my team or Larry.
Sure.
So what I do really is I get down to when they onboard onto the team, right? We sit down for an hour. I talk to them. I find out what they're comfortable doing. I find out what they're not comfortable doing. I focus
Okay.
on the comfortable, and then we work on the uncomfortable, like to bring
Okay.
that up. So a lot of people are camera shy, right? So I'm working with my agent Haley right now. We have a social media guy coming into our office every week, and basically, I'm getting her in front of that in front of the camera and trying to post on her Instagram so she could be that local authority within her sphere, right?
I
Because
got it.
that's a big deal. Because I tell her, look, what's going to happen is you're going to see somebody buy a house or sell a house without you that's like on your Instagram or Facebook, and you're going to be like, F this. Why did they do that? It's because you dropped the ball. You were not their local authority. So, what we're working on is really like all sides of the spectrum, though, right? So, getting their uncomfortable aspects of the business and making sure that that becomes an aspect of their business.
Sure.
Meanwhile, ramping up on the stuff they're already comfortable with. If it's calling expired, if it's calling canceled, great. I'm going to get you on the phone. We're going to be dialing 100 people a day. Door knocking, right? And very individualized, targeted door knocking. So I have leads out that for people with distressed homes, or they want a cash um, bid for their house. Whatever. Maybe I can't get a hold of this person. Maybe they left a fake number. Well, it's worth the door knock. And if we're
Yeah.
going to go knock on that door, we're going to just go knock on that whole neighborhood. So we're doing that now. Of course, our marketing's coming in. Every agent is expected to hit a certain level of metrics, and I could see it
Mhm.
all from Follow Up Boss. And if they don't hit that metric, then of course we, have like a little powwow and a group huddle. And I don't really believe in like a disciplinary hand, so to speak. Like, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. I'd rather speak into them and speak good into them. So like, hey, you missed your
Build
mark
them
this
up.
week. Did you
Yeah.
open your escrow? No. Well, maybe because these KPIs right here, these metrics, they're not what you set out to do this month.
Love
So
it.
that's what I'm implementing right now.
I love it. So what Jovan just described is exactly what vision needs to look like, right? His vision is realistic. He's able to convince and attract where he wants to be to others, right? And that's why I kind of pulled a few things out of you. One, which was, I want to train you up to be a rock star. Who wouldn't be motivated by that? Who wouldn't be motivated by, this is where I'd like to see you. Your metrics are, I'd like to see you doing 5 a month. Which, guys, 5 a month is a relatively simple thing if you're doing what you need to do every day, even in a down market. And I know I say that flippantly. You're like, D, you're not out there in the trenches right now. You don't get it. But the truth is it's a little more than 1 a month. As a licensed practitioner, you want someone who wants to do at least 1 a month. And at the very least, at the very minimum, in order to stay in real estate, you need to be able to do at least 1 deal a quarter. A deal translates to roughly 32 hours of work. And if you're in this business to win it, like Jovan was just describing, you've got to have a minimum threshold that's acceptable for you, for your team, all those things. So he described in detail a very realistic and convincing vision that I myself, if I were on his team, could follow. I know that I have a quota or a metric that I need to meet. And it's not just for Jovan's benefit, it's for my benefit as well. He's helping me to train up to where I can be successful. That's what's called scenario analysis. So, a compelling vision with scenario analysis, and then being able to inspire others through either first person dialogue or events that have happened to you during your real estate career. That's kind of that first basis. And I know I'm talking a lot, and so I want to slow down so that everybody kind of gets on the same page, right? And again, this first session is really just kind of establishing a baseline so that we know where everybody is. And like I said, feel free to participate, because the only way this thing works is if we're interactive, and it's important for us to be interactive as we move forward. So, going back to what we just talked about, which is vision. Who else? Hey, good morning, Sarah. Who else on this call has a vision? Has a true vision that would inspire someone else to follow your lead or follow your direction? I know Sarah does that. Sarah, I'm going to pick on you for a minute. Sarah and I have talked quite a bit. She's very similar to Jovan, which she and her business partner have a very detailed plan. Sarah, do you mind sharing a little bit about your vision for your team?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can now.
Oh,
Good
great.
morning.
Okay. Yeah, I think for us, the vision that we have for our team is really based off of our value system of being an education forward organization that provides value to clients. And so for us, when we, as we continue to explore
Uh, Sarah, are you
education.
still with me?
Oh, yeah, can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, you disappeared.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know where I lost you at.
Education, value
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah, I think the vision for our team is to always come from an educational perspective when supporting clients, and as we grow our business from any perspective, whether it's prospecting or client centric care or any kind of component in our business model, is always from an educational perspective. As an
Mhm.
example, Brandon and I just completed the buyer representation course and got
Mhm.
certified in that, and then we hopped on and did the veterans course. And so we're always trying to I don't know, come
Yeah,
from a place of just continuous education that we
yes.
can turn into value add for our clients, and so I guess that would be the vision for our team right now.
No, that's great. And based on what Sarah just said, it's easy to have others follow you when they know you know what you're doing, right? Oftentimes we talk about being leaders or we have the desire to be leaders, but the fact is, and this is truth, we ourselves don't know what to do. We ourselves don't know where we're going. So it's difficult to inspire someone else to follow you when you feel aimless or when you feel that you have a lack of direction. So, first and foremost is train yourself up. Like I said, this is my 28th year in this business, and I still train and I still, learn new things every day. I read something real estate based every single day. There's never a day that goes by that I don't read something real estate based everything every single day. Real estate is fluid, particularly now. You're talking more than a century old business that was antiquated all the way up until just roughly 20 years ago. It's only been in the last decade, give or take, that you've seen some very dynamic changes in this business. So again, getting back to when we were talking about what really makes a leader, leaders create vision. So you have to be able to do that as you're looking at developing and growing a team. I also mentioned that you have to work well with your team. We don't, as human beings, there's some people we just, no matter what we do, we won't align with, or we may feel like it comes from a position of, I don't like this person. Sometimes we just don't mesh with people. That's just a fact of life. Even people that we don't mesh with, we can work successfully with. But usually we're looking to habituate to sameness, which means we look for people that are like us. That's kind of how human nature works. We look for others who are like us, and it doesn't necessarily limit itself to color or to gender or geographical location. It's more like-mindedness that we really approach our relationships with. So leaders can't achieve their vision or really kind of exercise their mission if they've got people who fail to contribute to what that vision looks like. Leaders have to have the ability to motivate and collaborate with people in order to help them to deliver on that vision. So much of effective team leadership refers to your people skills. Do some self-evaluation and ask yourself, how well do you work with others? Some of us, focus from an introspective style in terms of how we exist in life. So we may keep to ourselves and we hold all of the chips close to us because we either A, don't trust or feel that we have the best solution or the best path without contribution of others. Some of us share readily. You guys have all heard this statement in the past: good leaders delegate, and that's very true. That's been the core of my life, which is I may hire someone, but it's not for them to do it just like me. It's for them to exercise their skill set and to contribute and to move that vision forward. So the awareness of your team dynamics is critical, particularly at the hiring phase. I'm going to share something, Sarah, that won't give any names or complete situation, but Sarah and Brandon were hiring a person. Oh, I guess it was a couple of months now, plus or minus. And in all honesty, they were very judicious with how they interviewed that person and kind of styles and method that they wanted to execute and what was expected of her, which is that management of expectation. But this person maybe wasn't forthcoming. At any rate, they decided that very early on, this person, from a team dynamic perspective, would not have executed on the vision. And therefore, that vision would have ultimately failed had they continued down the path with this particular person. So it's really critical that you're hyper aware of self, that you actually know where you're wanting to go. That's why I mentioned earlier, vision is everything. You got to know where this thing is going to. Otherwise, you've got just aimless people riding around. Okay. So effective leaders recognize and consider the needs and the views of their teammates, so that it's more of a collaborative approach versus a uh, a dictatorship type or non-democratic kind of an environment. So effective leaders also look for leadership within the people that they hire. Guys, we excuse me, we know that this is an entrepreneurial type of business. People gravitate to this kind of business because they do have a purpose for their life and where their life is going. If you're hiring people that require constant supervision, and when I say constant, I mean constant. Nope, nope. You were supposed to put the loop in the round hole and move the square peg to the the square hole. That kind of thing. That might not be the person you want. You want someone who also has a vision for their life and is exercising your leadership in order to help them achieve where they're wanting to be. Right? You want to make sure that you're not self-sabotaging, which is really easy to do. Sometimes we hold back the growth and development of the people we want to work with, which is a style of self-sabotage. And that's something that we absolutely want to steer away from. And then, along those same lines, we enable success. Jovan talked about, establishing performance metrics and KPIs, which are key performance indicators, or OKRs, which are objectives and key result kind of measurements. Again, without goals, we don't have anywhere to go. And those KPIs and those OKRs are all about goal setting. Hey, listen, John, this is what I want you to do this month. This is how I want you to get there. And this is what I, anticipate the outcome to look like. Are you okay with that? And get those things out up front. Again, those help to drive where you're going. Ultimately, it gives someone a task-specific behavior that they can fulfill. And that also makes them feel good. I mean, when we achieve, we feel good, guys. That's a clean and simple fact. We feel very good when we achieve. Okay. And then, finally, we talked a bit about being flexible in terms of what we do. A business like this, you have to be highly adaptable. If you think globally and think about global companies, they change and pivot all the time. They appreciate cultural diversity. They develop technologies you implement technologies that are going to continue to further the business. They share their leadership, all those kinds of things. You have to think about how flexible you are in order to make sure you're achieving where you want to be. Okay. And again, leadership and management are not the same. I know we think they are. It sounds the same. Leadership and management are two different things. You can be a leader without being a manager, right? And you can be a manager without being a leader. So, you kind of have to think about where you are. So that being said, all right. So I know I'm jumping around a bit, but is everybody good and clear on, what we've covered so far? Anybody have any questions? All right. All right. Moving on, moving forward. All right. So let's address what we've got on the board. And this is kind of going to be the cadence of these sessions going forward. So when you're looking at Radius as your brokerage or as your umbrella, so to speak, and you're guiding your own business, some of the things we talk about are what can we do as a brand to help you, right? Or as the COO of your brand. So you may ask, how does Radius help my agents financially grow? And we talked a lot about that, which is the coaching and training platforms that we create. We're actually in the process of revamping our academy and our rooms. More to come on that, but that way you guys will have continual content. Education is everything. I really appreciate what Sarah said, which is education is everything. You are constantly training up. And if you're not training up, you are cheating yourself. There is no static measure in this business. There is no stasis or status quo that you can rest your hat on and go, yeah, this is good enough. Once you get to that stage, you might as well be out of the business unless you're doing $30 or $40 million a year in business. I could see you maybe reaching the status quo point, but many of you or most of you are not. Establish your business objectives prior to, developing these sessions. So as we move forward, everything that I've talked about from a baseline this morning, these are going to be some things that you guys are going to do. If you don't have a plan of action right now, you absolutely need to develop one, and you need to develop it in writing. The difference between externalizing what our goals and our business objectives are versus keeping it in our head. Your brain thinks quicker than you can imagine, right? And the fact that your brain is so fluid, your thinking is so fluid, it changes from millisecond to millisecond. When you externalize something, it actually becomes real. It slows down the process. It's a tangible item now that can be manipulated. It can be given away. It can be lined through. It can be shared with others. It can be ripped up and started all over again. But it actually gives you this tangible thing that you can focus on daily and kind of say, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do that. When it's in your head, it's not a real thing because it changes from second to second, from moment to moment. So you actually need to write it down, guys, not keep it in your head. I know a lot of you say, I've got a business plan. Well, what is it? And then as we're talking, you're thinking about what it should be versus knowing what it actually is. Okay. We'll talk about tailoring messaging statements that clearly articulate how your agents make money with you, vis-a-vis through Radius and trainings and such. And you may already have curriculum that you've developed yourself that you're going to share with your agent, and there's no need for us per se. But again, having resources available to you in abundance is really kind of what we want to establish from a core level. Develop fact sheets, which are immutable things that are necessary to move your business forward. And finally, what are you offering as a business model to that person that you're bringing on to your team? It's one thing to say, hey, come work with me and I'm going to help you grow. Well, really, how are you going to do that? What are the things that you're going to do to help me be, successful, or help this team be successful? So what are the benefits that you're actually bringing forward? I will tell you guys, and this is opinion of me, but it's based in lots of legs of reality, which is I would be very mindful if you're talking about building your team based on you providing leads. Leads are finite, and leads are fallible. And particularly depending on how you're generating those leads. So if someone comes to you solely on the basis of you're going to give them business, right? It's the old analogy of give a man a fish or teach a man to fish, right? If you're giving someone a fish, yeah, they're going to be happy today, but tomorrow, how are they going to feed themselves, right? So it's really more the learning process of how do you generate business? What are the methods to get there? Jovan talked a lot about not everything works for everybody, but helping people through the discomfort of the things that they don't like to do or that they're fearful of is invaluable, okay? And if you don't have that ability to teach those skills, get with someone to where you, A, learn them, and you're, B, able to translate those to someone else. Jovan also talked about hyperlocal markets. So one thing that I'll have everyone focus on, we tend to get very global, particularly these days. We want to be everywhere all the time. And real estate at the end of the day is still a very hyper local market. It's, in and around where you live, where you work, where you play. Real estate is a lifestyle business. It's important that you understand what that is and how others translate as to what that is as well. When we go out and show a house or show someone a house, we're not showing someone a house, we're showing them a neighborhood, we're showing them a community, in which all translates to lifestyle. You being hyper aware of the markets that you plan to work and serve so that your agents can begin to focus and have an understanding of, again, when we talk about managing expectation, the things that'll be required of them. Sure, you may get the occasional one-offs to where you've got a property that's not within some of the geo territory that you've defined. But either way, you've got to start to think about where your business is actually going to live and breathe. Okay. So when we talk about your leadership and development, understanding the return on your brand, right? All of you have invested in your brand. I know at least two of you in this meeting today have your individual brands already established. So understanding the power of your brand is critical. It's one thing to develop a brand and basically keep it secret. Nobody knows you're in the business. They have no idea, that you're a real estate person. A lot of us do what's called getting ready to get ready. We spend a lot of time in development. I want to create the coolest, slickest website. I want to, have the best collateral and the most gorgeous signs and all these things. But at the end of the day, nobody knows you're in business. And to have a really cool website is of little to no value if nobody knows you're in business. So understand, how to leverage your brand, and what the investment is on that brand and what kind of return you're looking to get from that. Um, uh, how can Radius help you guys or help your team get more listings? So again, I talked a lot about don't rely on leads. Leads are an imperfect system, but more so utilize and leverage the tools that are available to obtain leads. One at Radius, which is the community. Are you or your teammates posting in the community every single day? Part of the reason why we have an 80,000, almost 90,000 plus agent network, which is how Radius was actually founded. It started off as a social media platform for real estate professionals, is to reach out and network with those folks who are in communities that you don't serve, because they may have folks in communities that you do serve, and that creates referral opportunities. So that's one significant way that you can leverage or create a lead system that is consistent and something you can work on. But like with any social media platform, you have to post, constantly, consistently. How many of you in this meeting today utilize social media as part of your lead gen strategies for your business?
I do.
Okay, Donna, what do you do, Donna? How do you leverage social media for your business?
Well, we have a business page as well as our personal pages, and we cross post all the time. And
Okay, so on your Instagram, you were referring to your Facebook, and your Facebook, you're referring to your LinkedIn, that kind of thing?
all of them.
Okay.
We have a business page for Facebook too. So I mean, we cross post all.
Okay. And what content are you using to drive traffic to your Facebook page or to your Insta page or to your LinkedIn?
Well, I do post listings, but not as often as I post other things. I post real estate related articles, and I also post just cutesy little memes and things, funny things, just
Okay.
every day. I also
Okay.
both of us, we make sure that we're commenting and posting and sharing other people's posts too.
Okay. Okay. From a content perspective, so I want to go back just briefly.
Mhm.
So you said that you post listings from time to time, not always, but sometimes.
Yeah.
And then you post content, subtle content about real estate. What
Yeah.
does that look like? What do you mean by that?
Articles that we get from CAR and NAR, we make sure that we're posting good information and not just some random meme
Okay.
that somebody has posted, but we make sure that it's at least from a credible source.
Got it. So all real estate all the time, essentially, something like that. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
No,
Okay, tell me more.
no, we do. We post personal things. We post whenever we're in a neighborhood doing something. We post when we're on a trip. We post a lot of personal
Cool.
things to show that we're people, and
Got it.
not just
Okay,
real estate agents.
that's great. That's great. I mean, because again, in a business like this, and that's at the core of what we do is develop relationship. It's important for people to identify with our lifestyle as well as what we do as a business model. Let's face it, if we were posting real estate all the time, all real estate all the time, that's a vomitous level of content, right? People, it's like your dentist always posting, hey, clean your teeth, floss. Hey, clean your teeth, floss. You're like, oh my God, I get it. I got to clean my teeth and floss, right? And we make those fatal mistakes of not identifying ourselves as humans who interact with other humans. That's great, Donna. Love it. Who else utilizes or leverages social media in their business model?
Brandon.
Ooh. Hello.
Hello.
There we go.
Brandon and I leverage social media.
Okay. What are some things that you guys do?
Yeah, I think a majority is similar to what Donna does, and we also do some marketing across Facebook as well. We use the platform um, as for marketing. So on our listings,
When
we
you say marketing, Sarah, what do you mean by marketing?
like paid advertising across Facebook
Okay.
surrounding our listings, and
Okay.
so I want to say we get like anywhere from 3 to 5 leads a day that come in. It's a little
That's stellar.
obnoxious.
3 to 5 a day?
It's Yeah, and if you add up the cost per lead, it's like $2 a lead, and
That's
we're paying
stellar.
like thousands of dollars for Zillow.
No kidding. That's stellar. That's a lot more organic than something like Zillow to where they're all stepped on and, talk to 70 people before they got to you. That's stellar. 3 to 5 a day. What's the
Three to
level of
five.
conversion on that 3 to 5?
I mean, I just converted one into a buyer consultation, and so I'm working with him. And a lot of them they put the wrong phone number or
Sure. Or Mickey
email.
Mouse. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But we're Brand and I are really trying to build out our marketing competency and trying to expand on just on that level so we can do our own marketing. We're actually taking a course right now through Course RA.
Oh yeah, love Coursera. Coursera.
Yeah.
Guys. If you don't know what Coursera is it is essentially a free educational platform. There's another one I can't remember the name of it, but Coursera is a big one. To where you can take college level courses for free on anything. And if you want to get the credit for it, then obviously you pay for the class. But you can take a course on anything for free, which is a brilliant idea in my opinion. I'm just a huge fan of it. So
Yeah, we've been meeting with different marketing companies, and it's anywhere from like $2,000 to $6,000 a month for them to do all of our social media marketing, and we're just gonna learn this ourselves
yeah,
and do
yeah.
it. And then that could also be a value add for our clients. Like as a team, we do our own marketing. We know how to market your property. We don't hire someone else to do it. So that's
Let me
kind of
ask
our
you a question on that. So, as you develop your
yeah.
team, can you identify the pain points of you learning as you're growing? Right. Sometimes we stop the car and pull over and make sure the engine's well tuned and the tires are filled with the proper amount of air and have the tread. And that slows our journey down, but at least we know we're proceeding safely. Sometimes, like you're doing, we will fix the car in real time. Hey, hold it steady while I, pull the mirror in. So, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
have you identified your pain points as you're learning, as you're growing?
I think for us, I think some of the pain points are that I mean we can't do it all.
That's a great statement. We can't do it all. Love
We
that.
can't do it all, and we're in a position right now where we are doing it all. And it gets overwhelming because even we're doing marketing, and again, like these leads come in, and we're like in our Coursera course, or we're out doing showings, or and we're like, man, we're missing out on these opportunities over here, and we need to do this. And yeah, so I think that's the biggest pain point right now is there's just two of us, and
Yeah.
we're we're kind of in a position where we're trying to do it all. Because again, we're like addicted to learning, like
That
education, and
that's why I picked on you on that particular point, guys. What
yeah.
Sarah just illustrated is what happens to a lot of team leaders, folks who want to grow their brand or grow their business, which is you tend to take on too much. Ambition is a double-edged sword, and I've absolutely experienced it on too many occasions in my life, right? We get ambitious and we literally go gangbusters. We go full on, right? And Sarah, I think you'll agree. Sometimes on the back end, what gets created is what's called burnout. Where we're just like, I gotta take a break. This is too much, right? Which slows our pacing down too. Have you had an opportunity at that experience?
Oh, I mean, I'm in burnout right now, and I mean, for me, burnout is engaging in behavior and not contacting reinforcement. And
Absolutely.
even though we're contacting a lot of reinforcement in other ways, it may
Yeah.
not be the reinforcement that I need, which is I want to go on a hike, or I want to spend time.
Right.
I want to take my mom out to lunch, or I want to take a day off. And, like we could have deals closing and money coming in, but that's not the reinforcement I need right now.
Totally. That's it. That's it. $1 million sitting in a box in the closet is of no use because it provides no useful energy. So
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, that's a very critical point, especially in early junctures, which is, pacing. The cadence at which you grow is necessary. I'll use Radius as a good and clear example. From the time I've been with Radius about 18 months, give or take. And literally, when I first came on board, we had a crazy cadence, right? We were going to do all these things. And thank God, clearer minds prevailed, because we were like, wait, pump the brakes, stop. Really? And that, and a clown too? No, that's too much at the party. We can't have all that going on. So cadence is super important as you're starting to establish your baseline. Where do we want to be? And that's part of that KPI and OKR structure. Where do we want to be at the end of Q1, or at the end of the first half of the year, or at the end of the first year? Where do we want to be? Businesses grow in stages. And it's actually much more healthy to grow in stages than it is to try and shove it in all at one time, because in stages, you have an opportunity to evaluate the validity of something that's introduced, or you need to jettison it because it's absolutely not going to work. And from a cost perspective, it's going to be a drain on the budget and all those good things. So, taking time to, what do they call it? Take time to smell the roses or smell the flowers, something like that, is critical. Taking time for you. I mean, think about why you got into real estate in the first place, to control your time and to control your money. And, I love what Sarah just said, which is, heck, I want to take my mom out to lunch, but there's no time because you're running at a frenetic pace. So brilliant comment, Sarah. Appreciate that. Who else is leveraging social media?
We are over here,
Okay.
and
What are
we're
some
wrapping
things
up
that you're
on it.
doing?
Yeah, we actually, like, I think I touched on it a little bit earlier. We actually have a guy coming into our office every week, and he shoots content for us. Like, I'll come up with some dialogue on what I want to share, and then he will edit the videos, send it back to us, and we're free to post it to wherever channel we want to. Basically, that's something I'm wrapping up on right now, because I want
Is
to
he
use
licensing
this.
that to you, Jovan? I hate to interrupt. Is he licensing that, or are you the intellectual property owner of that content?
No. I'm the he's just here to shoot the video and edit the video. I'm the owner of it.
Okay, I'm sorry, just wanted to be clear on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're posting lots of video content.
Yeah, it's something I'm ramping up team. I am going to leverage this because what I'm figuring out right now, right? I'm a very online lead generation. That's kind of what has made my business. I'm not a big referral agent yet, because I haven't really been in the business for more than, I haven't been licensed for more than 2 years. So
Okay.
my bread and butter has been online lead gen. What I'm having right now, a pain point, is actually a lot of the leads that are coming through. Yes, they're on a drip email campaign. Yes, they're getting touches with me and my, AI assistant that is reaching out to them every week. But one thing that they might, if I don't get them into an actual appointment, a face-to-face, I think that's where a lot of the leads are kind of dropping off. And even if they're not going to be a buyer or seller, I would love it if I'm going to be their go-to real estate expert, right? That's what I want, no matter what. At the end of the day, I want them to save my contact info and be like, Jovan, he knows what he's talking about.
Exactly.
He's the guy for real estate. So how I'm going to leverage these videos, right? They're actually going to be getting like emailed the videos, kind of like if you're familiar with a service called BombBomb, kind of doing that in the sense, without BombBomb. But I'm going to be leveraging those videos. all the online lead gen people that I get into my sphere, if they subscribe, they're going to be getting these videos in their inbox every month. And then eventually that's going to turn into somewhat of a podcast down the road, or maybe I'll just hop in. Like I don't have very much of a need or want to do a podcast myself. A lot of my friends already have them, so maybe I'll just go on and do like, you know, a 30-minute like segment with them and use that to leverage also on my website, be like podcast, click down, and then you could see me talking. So it's about becoming, again, a local authority within your sphere.
Okay.
That's kind of how, and of course I do all the other stuff. I post funny memes about real estate. I do a lot of inspirational, motivational things. People see me, they know what I'm about. They know I'm in the gym every day. They know that I'm in jujitsu at night. They know that, you know, I'm a single father. They know that I love my family. They know that I go to church on Sunday. They
Love
know
it.
that I'm a big believer. They know all of this about me already. So it's not like I'm just some real estate robot dude. It's like I'm a real person.
Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I would add to that or share with beyond that's great. That's a great strategy, Yvonne. One thing, which is all of you be very careful how you utilize drip campaigns. So Jovan's word, which was robotic. Drip campaigns will eventually become ineffective because there's no person attached to it. As a matter of fact, drip campaigns essentially become junk because you're just sending junk. It's not tailored or specific to what their wants and needs are. It just captures everything. Even when you filter, it just captures everything. And so if you did a detailed pattern interview in the beginning with your customer, and these are things as you're building your business, it doesn't apply to just your real estate side, but it applies to how you're growing your team as well, which is anything that is static, that is not dynamically moving. You know, people clue in on that right away. We are we all have multiple email addresses. I can't think of, I bet you there's not a single person in this class today that only has one email, right? We have emails to catch junk or things we use to sign up for a free whatever, you know, or get a coupon or things like that. So we all have multiple email addresses because they're free. And so the validity of an email is it has diminishing returns for sure. It may be valid if you got permission first, which is, you know, Mr. Mrs. Seller, I'm going to send you an email with this particular information that I told you I'd share with you. You know, and these are things that you want to impart as you're building your brand, growing your team. This all kind of fits in that knowledge bucket. Great data, Jovan. I appreciate that. Anybody else?
And drips should definitely be used as like a final safety net for any lead, right? Like you want to definitely like try to get them on the phone, try to get them into an appointment, take them out for coffee, something along those
Absolutely.
lines. Get a face to face, like
I will go a
some
step further. I
extent.
would say a drip campaign can be an introduction. And the reason it's an introduction is it gives you a purpose to call or to visit. Hey, Jovan, the reason I stopped by, did you get the thing about the thing? No, I didn't get it. Oh, I sent you an email about that earlier this week, and I just wanted to follow up, make sure you didn't have any questions. I do that or did that when I was a practitioner on direct mail campaigns. I'd send out something, and we know the rate of return on direct mail is super small. But I would go to that neighborhood that I direct mailed, and you know that gave me a purpose to door knock, and then I was able to have a conversation other than, "Hi, Mr. or Mrs. Homeowner, I am the Wilmore. Are you interested in buying or selling your house? By the way, guys, what a crappy introduction that is, right? That was something that existed when I first got in the business because it was a real thing. We were a proprietary business, and those were the kind of things you said. But in this day and age, I've got a stranger at my door who's wasting my time. You know, I don't have a relationship, so why are you asking me if I want to do business, right? So, great. I know we're kind of winding down. So, I kind of want to get a commitment. I didn't get through everything I wanted to get through today, but this is going to be an ongoing series. So, we're going to unwrap and introduce a lot of things every week, and it's highly participatory. Is everybody who's on the call today willing to continue week over week so that you can actually get some momentum in how you grow your business or if you're already in business and have a team, how you can maintain and grow that?
Oh yeah, I'm in.
I'm
I
in.
love
Great.
Awesome. Okay. Did everybody get some value out of this today? Is the format working for you? There's little adjustments that'll happen as we move forward, but want to make sure that this format is agreeable with everyone.
Yeah.
I like it.
Awesome.
I like
Cool.
it.
Good deal. All right, guys, does anybody have anything they want to share as we wrap up? Things that you found particularly invaluable as you're in this early phase of growing your business, things that have netted you some initial success that you think would be a benefit to the rest of the group? Awesome. And guys, if you have individual comments or questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. Get some time on my calendar. If you've got item-specific things that you need to discuss, I'm happy to do so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, D.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for participating. Appreciate your time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.